Hello there. What is it with the Labour Party? All it wants to do is keep delaying Brexit. Firstly, as ever, please kick that YouTube algorithm up the jacksie by giving this video a big fat like. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check my YouTube channel daily. Labour's new Shadow Chancellor and former MEP Anneliese Dodds has come straight out of her starting blocks, warning against a so-called chaotic no-deal Brexit, and the new Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer says that enshrining the Brexit Implementation period end date in UK law was a mistake. Talking to PA News, Dodds also said that, "I think it's absolutely critical that at this time we don't see the current government prioritising ideology over national interest. And we really need to have coordination, not just with the EU actually, but also clearly with the IMF and with other countries across the world." And she went on to say that, "We desperately need to have that coordination, and very sadly, we've seen in areas like the provision of protective equipment, testing capacity, ventilators and so forth, what happens when there isn't that coordination, and when international systems aren't necessarily working in the way that they should be working." Well, just for starters, at the moment we have stories of individual EU member states hoarding what emergency medical equipment they can lay their hands on, internal EU borders going back up, the unwillingness of wealthier Eurozone members to help out those other members hardest hit, unlike what the government is doing within the UK, I would add, and a World Health Organization that now seems to be an arm of the Chinese Communist Party. And if the EU's not working properly, then why would we want to be connected to it, either by delaying Brexit or still being tied in via the single market and customs union or anything else that took Labour's fancy? So if Labour hasn't worked out yet that it's every country for itself at the moment, then they don't deserve to be listened to. Right now the Eurozone looks to be in a very dodgy place. It tries to straddle the world stage as a single currency, but its member states can't get it together to function like a proper single currency. It's held together by a fracturing political will and being pulled apart by financial realities. And if it goes bang, the whole EU project is doomed, and anyone tied to it will also be doomed. And the Labour Party thinks it would be a good move to remain liable for any of this post the 31st of December. Remember that one of the suggestions put forward by France was for an EU-wide fund where member states would be liable as a percentage of their gross national income to address this crisis. And you can bet your bottom euro that we'd be roped into that if Labour and the other rejoiniacs had their way. Sorting out a few import tariffs and supply chains will be small beer compared to us being involved in a huge EU bailout if the euro does go bang. And you only have to look at the pressure that the likes of Italy, Spain and France are under right now to see that they will be racking up mountains of debt by borrowing from the EU and its institutions. That will have to be paid back by those individual countries, and if the money's used on anything other than crisis medical requirements, then strings come attached. This does not bode well for the future of the countries that use those EU credit lines, which could lead to a future breakdown. And we need to be well clear of any association with such a risk. So thank goodness putting a Brexit extension in place would be very hard, politically hard. Before the 30th of June, which is 81 days away, it would take a massive Boris Johnson and government U-turn. An Act of Parliament would need to be passed, and agreement would be needed within the UK-EU Joint Committee to extend for either 1 year or for 2 years. But beyond the 1st of July, it would require an Act of Parliament and another full-blown UK-EU treaty. And you can imagine the wrangling over that one, couldn't you? And crucially, there is no route for a quick extra couple of weeks or months just to tidy the paperwork up, something they used to call a technical extension. That is no longer an option, not without a treaty change at the very least, or even a completely new treaty. And as it would take us into a new EU financial framework period, then Eurocrats would be looking to impose a very heavy cost on the UK. So it's nice to hear that the UK Brexit negotiator David Frost is getting on with the task, saying that he wanted to reassure everyone contact between the EU and UK on Brexit was ongoing, despite the current crisis, and that we have remained in touch throughout. Both sides have exchanged legal texts, and last week we had a series of conference calls to explore and clarify technicalities. So no need to extend then. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about a Brexit extension? Please share and comment, and thank you for listening. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.